Come on. Okay. So as I was saying, before we've got to this point, there were certain patterns I was expecting to see. I expected them to completely deny that Deontay Wilder was in arbitration with Tyson Fury. I expected them to think that they could roll over Wilder, call him a madman, kind of demonize his character, and make it almost impossible for him to get that fight with Tyson Fury. But I also knew that the law would be on Wilder's side. The reason why I feel this, and I continue to feel this, and why I felt so strongly about it, when I saw Wilder training, and he was saying, "Gazar, gazar, an eye for an eye, revenge." When I saw him training, and I watched the way Wilder was training, I said to myself, this guy's definitely fighting Tyson Fury. Lo and behold, Wilder knew a long time ago that this situation with Fury, he was going to be victorious and he was going to get the Fury fight. And then I go back in time. I like to go forward and back in situations. And I listened to John Fury in the BT studios. He was so sure that Fury was going to beat Wilder in that second fight. And I have to say, that was the worst I'd seen Wilder fight. Now, the story's coming out now that Wilder had COVID before the fight. Now, one thing's for sure, the same instability Wilder had in that first round against Fury. And that's not because he was put on the back foot. He just looked terrible, balance-wise, and I mentioned it in the commentary. It's the same sort of balance issues that Bwtm had as well when he fought Dillian Whyte. Is there a connection? Bwtm had COVID. Wilder had COVID. But I'm not even going as far as that, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it's just a contract that Wilder had in place that gave him such a favourable decision. I think there's more to it. All these people that have rubbished Wilder, but there were people, let me take this back. There were people that rubbished Dillian Whyte going to court for the right to fight for the WBC Heavyweight Championship World, for him to get that mandatory slot. There were people on here that were telling me, nah, it's not going to happen. Nah, it shouldn't happen. It's a waste of time. He gets his position. A lot of people just talk for talking's sake without actually understanding the implications of a legal case, especially when you're doing things which are shady. So I'm not going to come up with a COVID excuse. I'm not even going to go with that COVID excuse. I'm going to go with something even more shocking. But I told you about this situation with the arbitration. I told you that Wilder was going to fight Fury in the summer of 2021. We even had our guest on here, Coach Chris, when a lot of you idiots came on and started disrespecting Coach Chris. And I know a lot of you ain't going to apologize. Anyone piping up now will get straightly blocked, straight up, because you don't apologize, but you come in talking nonsense. I'm blocking you straight. That's it. No, there's just pure savagery from now on. If you can't come up and say, you know what, you got that right, that's a great piece of journalism, it's a great piece of work. If you can't acknowledge me, you can't acknowledge what we're doing this channel, and you're going to come on talking crap, you get blocked. That's it, straight up. Pure savage. Now, back to my point. Excuse or no excuse, you with the naked eye can see that Wilder did not look the same Deontay Wilder in fights previous. He didn't look right. And I'll go back to that arbitration. I believe, and I'm standing on this belief now, the thing with the glove gate and the other incidents that happened in that fight on that night, I believe there's more to that night than people want to accept. I said way back when Wilder did that interview with Brian, when Wilder did that interview with Brian Custer, I said, make sure we have Wilder versus Fury 3, honor that contract, do the right thing. I don't want to hear nothing about Anthony Joshua. And I'm so glad that this man's contract was super tight. And another man, Al Heyman, was behind that. For me, this is all logical. John Fury was dead cert that Tyson was going to beat Wilder that night. Completely. He knew he was going to ruin him that night. So, what has changed since? If you absolutely demolished a guy the right way, the honest way, the legit way, then there should be no concerns. Take the third fight and you do the business. If that's the case. But if things are not as straightforward as they may seem against the most dangerous fighter in the heavyweight division, a lot of the people that come on these channels talking don't know boxing. They know trolling. A lot of people that come on these channels are paid to talk nonsense, absolute rubbish. And if you ever confront them and ask them how a fight gets broken down, they can't do it. John Fury was bang, bang, right. He was like, salute to everybody in the room. Yes, brother, great to see you in the room. Don't know why this is going the way it is, but it's where I am at the moment. Good evening to you all. Salute. So, Let me come out of this. Right, good. So, salute to your brothers in the room. So to me, you're so confident. Now you're talking about concerned and a mistake. How can it be a concern if you're so sure that Deontay Wilder has just got a right hand? He's the most dangerous heavyweight in the world. This is what Tyson Fury said himself. But there are people that believe, oh, Wilder's a bum. These are the same people who are not watching the improvements of Deontay Wilder. Peter Fury did make a very valid point about Wilder ducking under punches. But I think I'd rather see Wilder ducking under punches than pulling his head straight back from punches. At least he's doing something different. It might not be the right way, slipping punches maybe, but the dynamics are different. But the team are so sure, Wilder's team are so sure that they're going to get the victory over Tyson Fury this time round. The thing it makes me wonder is, John Fury said he's worried his son may get beat, that he's being set up. How do you know that, John? How did you know that? How do you know he's been set up, John? Why do you think he's been set up, John? Because, John, I think you're a very truthful man. When John Fury told us no contract being signed, when Derek Chisora told us Fury and Joshua ain't going to fight, when I told you, check the Chisora, what Chisora's saying, watch what's happening with Usyk and Joyce, these are all logical things. Check that Wilder's still at the arbitration. Check that Tyson Fury hasn't fought since he last beat Wilder. And he's not confident. Why is he not confident? Well, let's say if you're banged to rights, let's say that you have been caught red-handed with all the tricks of the trade, and the court has seen that, and that was part of the favourable reason why you get a third fight of Deontay Wilder, or you get a third fight of Tyson Fury. Let's say, for argument's sake, let's just say, for argument's sake, that there was a Dirty Tricks campaign, and let's just say that the court knows about it, and let's just say the judge knew about it, and let's just say because the judge knows about it and the court know about it, that those same tricks that were played then cannot be played again, right? So if the gloves, I'm not saying they were, I'm just putting it out there as a case. If the gloves were dodgy, then you can't use the gloves again. One, if the blood samples were tampered with and there was something in the blood because something was slipped into Wilder's thing, listen, you can call me a conspiracy theorist all you want. At this point, I don't care, because at this point, I've broken most things down to you. Nobody comes up with a logical answer apart from name calling and talking nonsense. So I'm just asking this point. I'm just saying, if this is the case, if this was the case, and all those tricks that were played the first time round or the second time round won't be in your favor this time, you won't have a favorable referee this time, you won't be able to do certain tricks and holding and using your feet and tripping people up, you can't do the things you got away with before against the most dangerous puncher in heavyweight boxing. Tyson knows it's not just the right hand that he has to worry about with Deontay Wilder. Boxing fans, at times, fanatics, can begin to believe that their fighter is immortal, unbeatable. It's never going to get beat. I'd be concerned knowing that Tyson Fury has been down. He's been almost knocked out by Wilder. In the second fight, Again, there's too many question marks about the second fight for me. And this third fight, the way Wilder's training, the way he's training, he's not training like a man that was beaten and he was like, yeah, I got beat by the better man, and that's that. He's beaten an eye for an eye. You do not talk eye for an eye unless that man has done something that's not going, that's against the Queensberry rules. That's what I'm saying. And he's probably saving it all. And he's probably got a whole heap of evidence as well. Now, I've always believed that if Fury were to fought Joshua, he would have, and he had beaten Joshua, that would have been him. He would have quit boxing. He would have come out of boxing, beaten Joshua, and that would have been it. No second fight, because there were rumors it was only a 1-fight deal, not a 2-fight deal. I cannot still understand for the life of me how you can arrange a fight before arbitration come to an end. I still can't understand it. And if you can still have the confidence to go back to all these media outlets that will tell you that Fury and Joshua was a done deal, even knowing that there was arbitration, shame on you. Hey, why are you watching, you moron? So it is what it is. It is what it is. It's exactly what it is. And you have to understand this. Understand it well. That I believe that at the end of the day, this is all going to come out in the wash. I truly believe it's going to come out in the wash. I truly believe it's all going to come out in the wash. Nobody likes to hear the truth. Nobody likes to hear the truth. Apart from those who are part of truth. So, I say this much. If Tyson Fury did do illegal things in the second fight, or if he, not even if he did the illegal things, if he had people around him that did illegal things to allow him to win that second fight, and that pathway is now blocked, I can see why John Fury would be concerned. I can understand that. And you see, you all won't understand that boxing gods, I'll say it again, talk about the boxing gods, are unforgiving. It would be ironic that in the third fight, that Wilder was to come out and to beat Fury convincingly by a knockout victory. And that would close that trilogy. Whether Anthony Joshua, after that fight, would still want to fight Deontay Wilder. It'll be interesting to see. Might come out after the trilogy. In my opinion, no judiciary would validate allegations if there weren't some truth somewhere. This is what I'm saying. And we had. Now, for the person who said I only had 10 viewers in here, we had an attorney on the channel. I don't care about views. I care about the quality of people that listen in. And I'm glad, once again, we had quality enough to know that there was an arbitration. We had quality enough to know when that Fury and Wilder were going to fight in the summer of 2021. Why do we care who's viewing? Apart from those that know their stuff. You've been watching channels that have got 221 people watching. They didn't tell you the news that we gave you, so we don't care. We're not in competition with anybody. Tyson got a lot of money on the line against Wilder. Of course he has. Of course he has. Now, I want to know two things. I want to know, one, why Tyson can't drop the belt in the bin and go and fight Joshua. That's what I want to know. And two, how much would he be punished for not fighting Deontay Wilder? Fury says 20 million. That's garbage. That's absolute garbage. Why I say it's absolute garbage is this. If it was only 20 million, do you think 20 million could stop Fury versus Joshua? Do you really believe 20 million could stop Fury versus Joshua? Think about that for a second. 20 million. Come on. Come on. Think about it. Now, I'm not saying that Fury cheated. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that from being super confident in the second fight, John Fury, to now having a third fight of saying, oh, I'm concerned. Tyson's been set up. It's a mistake. That does not sound the same. Well, hold on. Hasn't Tyson Fury broken the spirit of Deontay Wilder? But did you do it legally? Or did you do it illegally? Was that a real win? Or was that a illegal win? These are questions that a logical mind will think about. Why has John Fury suddenly got so concerned? You're fighting a man that his soul has been taken, and you could fight him twice on a Sunday. Huh? And then suddenly your dad saying to you, whoa, this is a mistake. Drop the belt. Go and fight Joshua. But the fans who've never got in the ring with Deontay Wilder know that Deontay Wilder's a bum. But Joshua, that's the guy to go and fight now. Really? I just want you to think about this a second. And let me break another thing to you. Do you remember when I told you Vladimir Klitschko was making a comeback? And we will tell you that the night of Klitschko's defeat to Joshua, that night, myself in Klitschko's hotel room in London, downstairs in the hotel with Uncle James Ali Bashir, we told you Klitschko's coming back. And the only reason Klitschko's coming back is to be the record, to be the oldest heavyweight champion in history. But now he wants to go and fight Shannon Briggs. Again, we told you here first. So, and this nonsense about Wilder wanting step-aside money. All this nonsense, all this crap came from the lamestream media. I'm sorry, you failed. You failed. Your trolls failed. Your reporters failed. Your TV coverage failed. You all failed. And now you're running for cover. And you're so failed, you won't even ask Eddie Hearn, how could you set up a fight with Anthony Joshua, yet there was an arbitration going on? You're one of the biggest promoters in the world. Some would say you're the biggest promoter in the world, yet you didn't know that there was an arbitration going on. But me sitting there down here with my keyboard, behind my keyboard, I knew that information. Were you an idiot or what? oh, well, I was busy there. And then all of a sudden on the 11th hour. It was never on the, you were a liar. You're a liar. You use the opportunity to promote all your fights for free. So every time people come to you and ask a question, oh, you got the Tyson fight done with Joshua? Yeah, it's coming. It's on the doorstep. It's on the doormat. It's round the bend. It's on the A25. I posted it. The only reason why you're doing that was to promote your fights, your fighters. That's what you're doing. You knew that Fury versus Joshua wasn't going to happen. You knew it wasn't going to happen. You knew it wasn't going to happen. And here's the next thing you're going to try and do. This sort of BS that the fans, the mugs that the Hearns calls people in boxing, they call them mugs, boxing fans mugs, because they can't see the BS. This is another thing they'll try and do. Another strategy. Watch it for Usyk. They give Usyk, pardon my French, a shitty deal. They say, all right, we're going to give you 25% or 20%. Some shitty deal they're giving. And Usyk refuses it. And they would say, well, we did offer Usyk a good deal, but he didn't really want to accept. So now we're moving on with Dillian White. So you can see already, you're hearing in the press, Dillian White, Dillian White, Dillian White. Usyk doesn't sell tickets. He is perceived to be a difficult fight. He doesn't sell tickets. He doesn't sell tickets. So he won't generate. All the generation of this fight is going to go towards Anthony Joshua. Think of business sense. You could fight Dillian White versus Joshua for the second fight. A fight ago, he was getting knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. You think Joshua will want to fight him again based on that? And I think Joshua's improved as a fighter. And Dillian White's improved too. But the Povetkin fight, well, goes, oh no, not Vlad back again. No, yep, he's meant to be fighting Shannon Briggs. It's like they're concerned about fighting even on playing field. That's what I'm talking about. The trilogy has been built for 40 months. No way they're taking step aside. There you go. Wilder will choke again like he always does when it matters against elite competition. You see, it's comments like you see comments like this, right? It's comments here by Luna Star. It's comments like this. You know where it's coming from. It's coming from that same stench, that same lamestream media, that same trolling mentality. Wilder will choke again. How many times has Wilder choked since he's been heavyweight champion of the world? He fought the most dangerous man in the heavyweight division, which was Luis Ortiz. Beat him twice. When a lot of you thought he'd beat Luis Ortiz, would beat him. Do you know, some people do talk some real horse shit sometimes. I don't know why they come on my channel to talk this rubbish and think that I'll accept it. Choke. Flipping hell. Where do we get these jokers from, man? Choke. So I'm not overly, like I said, the way he's training, and I've watched so many athletes along the years and been involved with athletes up close at the highest level. The way Wilder's training is like a guy that's done him wrong. He's done him wrong. I've been telling you all for the longest time, the majority of the boxing media today is paid and bought for by the promoters. I've told you this. I have told you this. I know. Okay? So what makes me laugh is when these media outlets who are so knowledgeable talk about Fury versus Joshua, and they're jumping up and down like it's been signed and it's all done. And I'm sitting back and going, yeah, okay, all right. You're a media outlet. You, the content of what you put out is a reflection of your knowledge and how much media reach you've got. That's what it means to me. It's all well and good reading articles that somebody else has put out there. It's another thing for you to be able to have the content capital to get the information from strong sources and research and bring the information back and talk to boxing fans about it. It's another thing altogether. And it's another thing to not just talk about boxing, but to break down a fight. And in this situation, break down a whole set of situations. I would like to see Joe Joyce and Dillian Whyte fight. And the winner goes and fights. The winner goes and fights the winner of the fight with Fury and Wilder 3. And let me tell you now, that fight will be sold out. That fight will be sold out. That would be a sold out fight. Once the tickets go on sale, that fight is going to be megally sold out. I'm telling you now, it's sold out. It's only half-wits that think that fight's going to be sold out. Because you've got to remember, the same people that told you Joshua and Fury was a signed deal are the same people that told you that Wilder did not want to step aside, were the same people that told you that the arbitration, that Fury would win the arbitration, were the same people that told you that Dillian Whyte would not win his court case with the WBC. These are the same people. These are the same people that you trust and you listen to. These are the same people which I call lamestream. And for the most part, they watch this stuff off lamestream and then they go and they repeat it and they bring it here. So that's how I feel about it. I don't care about views. I'm not interested in views. I'm here to try and tell you the truth, or as close to the truth as possible. But we know now about YouTube algorithms. If anyone saw my post the other day about YouTube algorithm, right? I posted a video about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder when I was talking about the arbitration. And we saw in an independent report that video hit 14.9 million. No, I didn't make it up. 14.9 million. YouTube are currently in court, right? A lawsuit because YouTube are fiddling around with algorithms with certain channels. Yeah? Certain channels. This is what YouTube are doing. So what they do, they reduce the algorithm, they change the figures, right? To make it look as if nobody's listening to your work. Garbage. Trust me. Believe me about it. I did a video on it already. So it is what it is. But I want to say this. It's not like Tyson Fury's an angel. It's true. Got an independent resource, independent report. It's not the first time. I've shared it on my Instagram page twice already, 2 separate occasions. But the Fury one got 14.9 million. Could you imagine if you saw 14.9 million views on a video? You'd get more people in. You'd get more people in. Of course, they don't want that. They don't want that. So I'm telling you what's going on. I don't care. So it is what it is. It is what it is tonight. The challenge is there tonight. The challenge is there tonight. But it's okay. We keep moving. We keep working. So it is what it is. This is where we're at. Do I think AJ will be next? Well, this is what I'm hearing the stories. I keep hearing the rumblings. AJ's going to drop the belts. AJ's going to drop the belts. Hearn's looking for AJ to drop the belts. Dillian White's name's been mentioned. Why would you start talking about AJ dropping belts? It's one certain way to make sure that your golden goose don't get beat again. Because if he gets beat by Usyk, no Tyson Fury fight. If he gets knocked out by Usyk, no Tyson Fury fight. So the best thing to do to swerve that situation is give up the belt. Give up the belt. Give up the belt. And like I said, come up with a line of, we offered Usyk good money, but he didn't want to take the good money. And you know what? At the end of the day, we gave the WBO belt up. But you know what? We do it for the fans. So we're going to fight Dillian White again. We're going to give the fans what they want. Me and Dillian White in another dust-up. Another British dust-up. We couldn't get Fury, so we went for Dillian White instead. Wait for it. Wait for it. If they don't fight Usyk, you know what's happened. They've thrown away the WBO belt so Usyk and Joyce can beat one another up. And Joshua can get on and fight Dillian White. In-house money. That makes better business sense. Usyk don't make business sense. He don't make business sense. He don't make boxing sense. The only people that care about Usyk are the Ukrainians. That's a fact. That's a fact. He can sell it in Ukraine, yeah, but in America, no. He can't sell out in England, so we're really going with that. But White versus Joshua 2, that's a sellout. There's history. People tune in. Can you imagine 80, 90,000 people tuning to see Joshua White 2? Huh? Come on. That brings money in. That's what Hearn's about. After all this time, Hearn has strung White along with WBC just to fight Joshua anyway. No, it's because they were trying to real swing that fight with Fury. It might go to purse bids. You can see just what you hear in the media, the way you watch the media is by this is the fight, Joshua versus Usyk. Listen along the grapevine to hear what Eddie Hearn's saying. If you start hearing about belts being dropped, and that's another way of them saying, okay, you know what? We'll drop the belt. Who are you going to fight? That's important. So Joe Joyce doesn't bring any money in. Usyk don't bring no money in. So that's two guys that don't bring no money in. Do you see what I'm talking about here? And does Usyk really want to fight Joe Joyce? Does he really want to fight Joe Joyce? No, he doesn't want that work. He doesn't want that. Usyk does not want that Joe Joyce work. I'm telling you now. Joe Joyce will walk straight through Usyk. He'll walk him down. Might take him a few rounds to track him down. When he starts digging them body shots in and Usyk starts sitting in them ropes, he's going to cause some serious pain to Usyk. Right? And never mind the Joshua fight. Like I said before, those fights, fans are not interested in Usyk fighting Joshua because they were expecting Fury. So they can't get Fury. So Eddie will say, at the 11th hour, we were thinking about Usyk. But, Usyk camp really didn't want to play ball. So what we did, we vacated the belt so you guys could get the White fight. I mean, come on. Some crap like that will be spun. If they don't fight Usyk, that's what will be spun. And forget Andy Ruiz. That fight against Arreola. Like I said to you again, oh my God. What did I tell you about the Arreola fight? The reason why Ruiz fought Arreola, not only because it was a Mexican fight, an all Mexican heavyweight fight, which is historic in its own sense, but it was just to see what Andy Ruiz had to Uh, Yo, Ingram, prolific genius here. Thank you. Good seeing the room. Sorry, I'm talking about Tyson Fury in such a way, but I don't like what John Fury is saying. I really don't. Piotr, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, not just as a member, but thank you so much for getting a Bwtm tracksuit. Really appreciate you. Hi, what do you think about Bridgerweight class? Will it survive? I don't know. I don't know. Because we haven't had any fights yet, have we? We have to bear in mind there's been COVID, so that slowed things up in boxing. But still, you would have thought there'd be some fights in Bridgerweight already. I don't know. I think the Bridgerweight could be an exciting division. I think it could end up being a very exciting division. Guys like Brian Jennings coming from heavyweight down to Bridgerweight, that'd be quite interesting. Guys who are too small for heavyweight, but too big for cruiserweight, that might be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I think boxing, you got these YouTubers coming in. It just shows you if YouTubers are making more money than boxers, it goes back to another point I made a long time ago, that boxing today is not just about having gloves and fighting. And I said about all these fighters in boxing, I said all these guys who think they're big shots and special and won't do interviews and won't do interviews because they think there's something special, they're going to suffer. And they're all suffering now. All the ones who thought they were big shots and special, some of them ain't got contracts no more and nobody cares about them because they didn't keep themselves relevant. So they cut off their noses. The people that were interested, genuinely interested in their careers, they cut them off because they're a big shot now. They've got their PA. The PA is not paying for them now, are they? The PA is not getting them on the big shows now, are they? They don't realize how all those interviews were helping them sell themselves. So I don't have much sympathy for a lot of them. I really don't. Where would AJ fight Usyk? Wouldn't look like a global superstar in the O2. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who. That global superstar nonsense came from British fans. You get typical British fans. They think when they've got something, they're the best in the world and they've got the greatest of everything. What makes Joshua a global superstar? He went to America and got his ass knocked out in the USA. And I told you before he left England that he would not sell in America. I said that already, but you all didn't listen to me. I said men like Ricky Hatton and Frank Bruno genuinely had fans around the world, right? Hatton and Bruno were more global than Joshua. Yes, he may have made more money, but a lot of his statistics are very much plastic, right? He doesn't have global appeal. Bruno had global appeal. People knew about Frank Bruno. People knew about Bruno. And people knew about Hatton. When Hatton came and fought with Mayweather, you see the crowds of people that came to see Hatton fight? There was no Instagram and all that nonsense going on. These were genuine fans. Football stadium. Like he had Man City behind him, Hatton, when he used to fight. Genuine support. Where guys, they fought and they promote themselves. Frank Warren's a boss. Once again, Frank Warren's a boss. I'm glad Frank kept his mouth shut and he didn't get himself caught up in Hearn's garbage. Frank's a boss. Tell you when he tells you, Frank Warren's a boss. This is the second super fight at heavyweight that Hearn has been involved with and has done pure garbage. Wilder and Joshua, and Fury and Joshua now. Two that his name's been involved with. Not good at all. I told you this guy jumps the gun. You all say, oh, you hate Hearn. I don't hate Hearn, I hate crap. I told you. When I had dealings with him, well, not dealings with him, but when I saw him call a purse bid, I knew how much a purse bid would be before the fight was even went to purse bids. Yeah, how a man could tell a fighter, you'll never become a world champion. You'll never fight for a world title if you don't fight with us. That's what they said to Carl Frampton when Frampton left him. Frampton went and fought Santa Cruz. Shout out to Carl Frampton, by the way. So I just don't like rubbish. I don't like garbage. I don't have no time for nonsense. Just tell it as it is. Tell it is. Tell the truth. Be honest. Be honest. If people told the truth in boxing, the sport would be so much better. It would be so much better. And we need that. It would really like what's really going on with the negotiation between Usyk and Joshua. When Usyk's camp knew that Joshua was not going to fight Fury, how did they know that? How did Chisora know that Joshua wasn't going to fight Fury? But yet Eddie Hearn didn't know. But isn't Joshua? Isn't Chisora part of Matchroom? How is it that Anthony Joshua did not know that Wilder was in arbitration? Who is advising him? Who are these advisors? I can't logically work this out. One of the biggest promoters in the world did not know that he was in arbitration. I don't understand it. Well, Aram and Frank used Eddie's desperation against him. T.O. Retribution. Oh, yeah. Lovely. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I want to talk a little bit about Pacquiao and... No. I want to talk a bit about Vladimir Klitschko and Shannon Briggs. And what I want to talk about with this fight while I'm at it is just how the fight came about, or it's leaked out. Did Shannon beg Vladimir for a fight, or did Vladimir contact Briggs? If Briggs contacted Vladimir, I don't want to see that fight. If Vladimir contacted Briggs, I'm interested. But of all the heavyweights to come back and fight against, Shannon Briggs is dangerous. The king of the one-rounders. But I think Klitschko's going to want him thoroughly tested before they fight. And here's the thing. If Briggs contacted Klitschko for the fight, then we know that Briggs has been searching for a fight for ages. And Briggs is, I wouldn't say Briggs is flush with cash. I'd say that Briggs probably needs the money. But if Klitschko contacted Briggs, then I think Klitschko's got more than enough money. Klitschko, I think he's done well for himself, and it's just a different setup altogether, But if it's Briggs that contacted Klitschko, it's going then it's how the fight would end. Whether the first time Klitschko hits him with a big right hand, he sits in his stool and retires after about 2 or 3 rounds with a twisted arm or twisted ankle, that kind of situation, But if, that's something that comes to my mind and it concerns me. Briggs deserves a fight. For all his boxing promo, Vlad contacted Briggs according to Briggs. Okay, well, that's good. That's good to hear. Let's just hope that Shannon Briggs' punch does not connect or make contact with Vladimir's chin, because that would be an absolute disaster for the comebacking champ. Klitschko likes media noise around him. Yeah, well, I think it's an interesting fight. I think it's a good fight. For the first 3 rounds, it's a great fight. If Briggs could just back Klitschko to the ropes and just land one of them big right hands on Klitschko's chin, we could have a sensation. But after that, Briggs as a cannabis company is doing all right. Okay, all right. Thank you for letting me know the information. But there's doing all right, bro, and there's doing all right. Klitschko's doing all right, right? Floyd Mayweather's doing all right. Shannon Briggs, I don't know how all right is. You understand? That's why when I talk about all right, is Briggs next generation all right, or next generation is that kind of all right I'm talking? So it can only be noise. Bruce on TalkSport and leaked it. I wouldn't call it leaked. I wouldn't call it leaked. Let's go, champ. I wouldn't call that leaked. What I would call leaked is a conversation with Shannon Briggs doing a deal with Klitschko over the telephone. I'd call that leaked. Shannon Briggs sitting in TalkSport studios is not leaked, or doing it via. It's not leaked. It's just a damn interview. It's not leaked. That's not leaked, man. Hulk Hogan using the N-word is leaked. Yeah, that's stuff that shouldn't got out. Yeah, that's what you call leaked. I don't call that leaked. I just call that Shannon Briggs telling us that, hey, Klitschko is a fight with Klitschko. I wouldn't call it leaked. It's a good grudge match. Well, is it a grudge match? Is it a grudge match? I don't know. David Hayes' a grudge match. I don't know if this is a grudge match. Yeah, CBD oils and stuff. Good luck. Well, fair play to Briggs. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. David Hayes, Shannon Briggs is a fight that we didn't get to see. That's a fight I would love to see. Briggs Hay would have been a great fight. I would love to see that fight more than Klitschko. Can Klitschko become a heavyweight champion of the world again? Uncle Boucher tends to think so. Don't know. I don't know. And there are people that tend to think that Klitschko could beat Deontay Wilder. I don't know about that one either. Because I know one of them it takes one right hand from Wilder and it's good night Klitschko. One right hand. Never mind 10, one. Do you know what I would like to see? And forgive me for saying this. I would like to see Vladimir Klitschko, Mike Tyson. Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis. Vladimir Klitschko, Evander Holyfield. Those are 3 fights I would like to see. I would like to see those fights. You know why? Because we have I know Holyfield, Tyson, and Lewis are not at their best, and you know, but we have a kind of idea how Klitschko would have done in that era. Klitschko versus Holyfield, Klitschko versus Tyson, Klitschko versus Lennox Lewis. Those 3 fights, I wouldn't mind seeing Klitschko in exhibition bouts. You know, 6 rounds. I wouldn't mind watching that. I would like to see that just as one of those boxing fans that, you know, would like to see how they would have, so we have a better idea of generations and eras. But to be fair, if I had my choice between Vladimir and Vitaly coming out of retirement, give me Vitaly all day long. That's the Klitschko that should be making a comeback. That Klitschko should be coming back, because I thought he was far superior as heavyweight champion. Far superior. Far more destructive. Far more stable, durable. I was 12 when Briggs was at the weigh-in. Hey, waited till Briggs left. I waited too. LOL. Klitschko would lose to all these 3. Well, listen, just before Klitschko got beat by Tyson Fury, Klitschko was the greatest heavyweight of the modern era. That Klitschko, Vladimir, he would have beaten Joe Louis. He would have beaten Muhammad Ali. He would have beaten them all on one night. He'd have beaten Mike Tyson. You remember the crap that people talking about Klitschko? And I think they're doing that crap now with Canelo as well, trying to sell Canelo as, you know, the greatest fighter of all time, which we know is a whole lot of garbage, and the same mainstream media garbage. Yeah. But Hay running from Briggs in New York was comedy gold. Hay knew where to pick his fights. Holyfield unanimous decision, Tyson KO, Lewis KO. Interesting. Run Hay out of the heavyweight division. Yeah. Did. I do need to talk about Spence and Pacquiao. Now, I should do I think I'm going to do a separate video for Spence Pacquiao because it deserves it. Again, Enzo Macronelli making his comeback. We told you here. So let's wait and see how Enzo does with his comeback. So let me go quickly and come back in. Pacquiao versus Spence for promo coming up next. We'll do a Pacquiao versus Spence fight after. So I'm doing it straight away. I'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.